The much talked about BBN show ended yesterday, which Makeup Miracle Ikechukwu emerged as the winner, and the grand prize of 25 million naira and more. Report has it about 170 million votes were registered, and it was gathered that most young people were actually involved in the voting process. Now we ask, what impacts have the reality show have on Nigerian young people, and how can we get these same young people interested in the electoral process? Join the conversation on 070-806-68014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. So nobody here can tell me
question.
how young people are obviously excited and attracted to this product called reality shows.
Yes.
And we get them to participate, to vote. I mean, the young person living in my house was glued.
Yes.
To
Same
TV.
here.
Practically kept rewinding.
Same here.
Right now that we have Explorer, clear rewinding. I'm
Yes,
thinking,
so
okay, you know. So the point is that, yes, we get their attention at that moment. During football season, we get their attention. How do we get their attention, especially towards 2019?
Fantastic question. May I start by saying that you lost our attention when it seemed that we did not matter in the scheme of things. There's not a young person to look up to in political matters. It's our great-grandfather. Let my mommy go and vote.
It's not our thing.
In looking glued to Big Brother, Idols, and all those musical shows, there's a potential that next year
It could be
I
me.
can go.
Oh, Jumoke. Woo! I'm feeling that response. You are very, very right. That makes a whole lot of sense.
So how do we ensure, fantastic question, Mariah, is to start to involve them.
Young
They are millennials, people who were born in 2000. They are going to be 18 this year.
Right.
Okay.
They ought to go and get their PVCs. How do you ensure that those ones are interested when all the candidates, they do not know them?
Exactly.
I know the history of
Right.
Buhari. I've read it in school. An 18-year-old who was
no
Buhari,
clue.
he was not born in 1984. He was only born in the year 2000. So how is he interested in politics?
So what you're saying is that young people need to get involved, right?
They have to be a role model.
They have to be that role model. But who's going to entrust that position to young people?
Before we get there, you know that entertainment sells because
Certainly.
life is hard enough. And so people want to relax and enjoy. Now, these reality shows, football and all, they are entertainment. They give us that relaxation.
Right.
And because we are not, a lot of people who are not very productive, they don't have anything else to do than to just relax and laugh and have fun. I was at a Domino's yesterday and the place was crowded. Even the people making the pizzas were not paying attention to their customers. The place was crowded, everybody was watching. It brings relaxation. So how do we make politics
Interesting
to the
attractive.
youths? How do we ensure that it's not stressful? Me, for instance, I've never voted because I see the queue and I'm like, am I going to do this?
Lazy Nigerian.
Lazy.
Am I going to do this? So you need to
Lazy
capture
Nigerian.
my
Right.
interest.
Yes,
When you
no.
think of the consequence of a bad leader, which is what we are suffering so far, when you go abroad and come back, you will queue.
Ben, you.
I campaigned. I had faith in President Buhari. I wanted that change badly, as in I wanted it better, badly than oxygen. That was how bad I wanted it. That's how aware I am around of the things happening around me and what effort I can make to change it now. The distraction of the Big Brother show itself is, for me, a problem. A lot of Nigerian youth would, I wish the concentration and the focus and the attention they gave to it, they would give to the things happening around them. I spoke with a 24-year-old girl. She had no idea. She had no idea.
that was.
In fact, she had no cares in the
politics.
world about what was happening, what she could do. And she's 24. Everything she was is my daddy, my daddy,
Okay.
my daddy.
Let me.
And that's the Nigerian youth who knew who was insulting in the house. For the first time yesterday, I sat and I usually would do that, watch the final show.
Nima, let me take this back a bit, because I think Jumoke just hit that nail on the head for me. Because the truth is that the person who created Big Brother, the owners of the product, are not necessarily young people. It's somebody who saw the opportunity that, you know what, this is a huge population that we have, and we can actually bring a product that would attract them. The same thing the leaders today are supposed to do. They see that politics is a product that we own. It's our future. So they need to make a conscious effort to incorporate young people at all levels, either from the local government level, regardless. You know, people are saying that don't just vote in young people, vote in people with content. The way we are seeing it, you may not need people with content. Just put a young person there so that at least you have an experience.
That nobody will give you the education to take them out of rulership. Have you seen that tweet?
Yes.
If you wait for these leaders, these politicians to give us that,
to package politics.
Okay.
But right now, the country we live in, the package is the entertainment that we live in. It's not working for where we're going. It's a distraction from the goal.
Stop saying it's a distraction, because
Mariah,
the entertainment industry is not a distraction.
Business.
You see,
Mariah,
we're not going to stop entertainment because Nigerians refuse to grow
I
up.
agree.
The entertainment will continue to grow.
question
Yes.
on Saturday. Someone
Business.
asked me that question, and I said, because we live in a capitalist world, I can't ask the capitalists not to make their profit. But the problem is, at every level that we are, individually, are we talking so that the youth know that this is not what to see? I was listening to Jimmy Disu, and he was talking about this same show, saying that this was a major distraction. You find an average 29-year-old, and all the person is thinking about is this, rather than look at.
Okay, let me come to Jumoke for a second.
I agree with Nima that it's the distraction. I was having a discussion with a political analyst, and he said that it happened several years ago and it was very deliberate. Keep the Nigerian youth distracted with entertainment. So, Big Brother came from abroad before they brought it to Africa. We had it in Nigeria over 10 years ago, and it never came back until last year. I watched last year's own just because I was part of the very first one. This year, not one episode did I watch, because what am I learning from it?
You're busy.
Psychologists learn, how people react when they're put with different people, and really and truly you see all that fighting and everything. But at the end of the day, for what? Politics is not everyday part of our life.
Yes.
Aside from governance, we are just doing elections once in 4 years. So you can get everyone involved during the electioneering period, and we go back to our entertainment lives.
How have we been supporting other aspects aside from entertainment? Take, for instance, when they go for mathematical competitions. Somebody wins 100,000, 50,000, 10,000 naira. Nobody is interested in that.
Same goal.
What I would see, but I think I don't totally agree that reality shows are a distraction. I think it's an eye-opener to exactly the capacity we have in the. Hang in there 1 second, because today it's unfortunate that it's not a Nigerian company that hosted this show. If we had Nigerian, if this was a Nigerian company, all that monies we're talking about that was earned would have come directly to our own economy, not their own economy. So the point is that this is an eye-opener to the capacity we have in the entertainment industry that we can actually invest in. It's so sad.
We can tap into it.
As you know, a producer, director
of programs,
how you know your arguments. But to worsen it is to say that this quick fix
mentality,
quick money, less work, plenty money.
Because you see your parents working for 100 years
and nothing is out of it. Thank you, Jumoke.
Let me take this from Chinelo.
It redefines what success is. And it confuses our youth.
Success
with all
to
due
everybody
respect, I'm not going to sit back, wait for Nigerian economy to
sit off and don't do my business.
Exactly, I won't want.
This is business. This is business.
Chinelo, are you there? Thanks for calling.
5 million.
Hello, good morning.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, talking about the Big Brother Nigeria, it depends on how you see it. This is something you see every day. But politics, like one of your colleagues has said, it's something you do once in 4 years. But if our politicians can come on TV and have debates that will involve and engage the youth, each time we go on TV, we see these debates. It's something that will always be on our mind. But if they don't come out and do constructive debates or say something very intellectual that will interest the youth, then nothing will be done. Look at the American elections. You saw how Trump was trending across social media and all that. All the debates that go across the states.
That's a good point.
Thank you.
If we can do that in Nigeria, and we always put on the TV, we see different politicians on TV talking about their whatever they have to do,
Right.
or the agendas for the next 4 years, then I think...
Thank you very much, Chanel. I think I got the point. So even the way your view is showing every single day,
yes.
we're inspiring some people out there to say, you know what, we need to get involved in what's going on. Let's take a few tweets and we're going to break.
Hallo says the old ones won't back down and they won't always want to pull the strings, even when the younger ones are there to rule. Ademola says the crop of politicians will never make politics interesting for the youth. The youth just have to take interest in politics and participate and be involved. News Nigeria says, Jumoke, you nailed it. We don't have anyone to look up to in the political space except our ancestors in power.
Imagine if is it Don Jazzy is the commissioner or something. Oh my goodness. What?
That's the
point.
May I say something? Right over the weekend, Banky W, Don Jazzy, all the artists were saying, go and get your PVC in response to what the president said. So everyone came out, I'm not a lazy youth.
We're all saying that we are not lazy. Although the president did not say lazy,
Excuse me, what's the meaning of sitting down?
Sit down at home, just like you like to sit at home.
Sitting down,
let's go on a break.
When
we come back, we'll bring our guests on set to continue the conversation. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So it's often said that the strength of a nation lies in the hands of the young people, on the youth. Statistics show that more than 60% of Nigerians are illiterate and more than 50% are under the category of young people, youth. With the recent statement made by our president that some young people at home doing nothing,
a lot.
What is the way forward, ensuring that young people are gainfully employed and also participate in politics? Joining us is Executive Director, Center for Public Accountability, Mr. Femi Lawson. Welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning, my pleasure.
You can call us on 070-806-68014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect, please. #YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Now, before you came in, we talked about the fact that young people are trying really hard to get young people involved in politics. I mean, everybody's talking about the third force, you know, what's the alternative? We have the PDP, we have the APC. Young people are coming, we have Fela Durote coming up, Shure was here on Friday. People are coming and saying, you know what, let's bring a new face. But young people out there, a lot of people are saying they don't care. She spoke to a 24-year-old kid that is not even involved in what's going on out there. How do we get these same young people, especially those that voted in this reality show, how do we get them involved in politics and to understand that the future is in their hands?
Yeah.
I think, let me pick it from some of the comments I listened to while the show was on. There's one thing we must get right as a people. We cannot dissuade young people from following reality shows.
Okay.
Yes.
And we cannot also say it should be enough ground for people not to be politically involved in the affairs of their country. But there has been one factor that has been responsible for where we are today. The number of young people who follow reality shows, who are in the entertainment industry in Nigeria, does not even amount to the quarter of the number of young Americans who follow these reality shows, who participate in a lot of this, entertainment, But the truth is that, for whatever reason, does not take them away from the realities of their society. If you find 170 million votes coming for BB Niger, you can't be rest assured that if 450 million Americans are voting in America, voice, whatever you call it, you can be rest assured that of that 150 million vote, if there's going to be an opinion poll on the next president of the United States, you should not be finding less than 300 million or so, 200 million, getting involved. The average person in some of these advanced societies do not see themselves as not being part of the larger picture. Because the larger picture is what really affects us all.
Right.
Yeah.
The entertainment, the other sectors, may not really have an overbearing influence on everybody.
Yes.
But what has a direct impact on all of us is how our society is governed.
Okay.
But one thing has been responsible for this. Why will an American vote for Voice of American Idol, watch NBA, follow the WWE, and will also, in the same spirit, follow the American election, follow the state election, is because of education. But here, there has been a conscious attempt, to derail the focus of our young people. And when we say education, I listened to you, you said people, politicians should come and talk to young people. No, it's not the duty of politicians, especially the current characters that are in the ruling, system in Nigeria. They would never do anything to educate this set of young people in Nigeria because it's going to be counterproductive.
Yes, they like status
But why
quo.
the ordinary American child
It's information.
does not need a Donald Trump or an Hillary Clinton to tell him or what is right is because he has already been taught in the classrooms. And this was the culture in Nigeria. I never knew about how Chief Obafemi Awolowo was sentenced to prison on the TV. September 11, 1963,
Yes.
I was not born. My mom was not even married.
History.
But I read about all this in school.
Very true,
But today, how many of our young people
They just brought
wouldn't
it
know
back.
when Chief
They took
Obafemi
it
Awolowo
before.
died?
Okay, yeah.
When Chief Obafemi Awolowo died, I was a primary school pupil. But today, I can tell you
What
issues about who
Right.
Obafemi Awolowo was.
yeah.
And consciously, the Nigerian system has taken history
Right.
away from the
Yeah,
classrooms.
they're bringing it back.
The Nigerian system is even taking education as a whole
Backwards.
away from the class, from our children.
So we lack information. Okay,
And
let,
as
let,
long
let
as that
me-
continues,
Yeah.
you continue to have a growing population of ignorant people. They may be literate, but they'll be so blind and they
Okay,
will not
all right.
Okay, it's not our portion. Not her
Amen.
Jesus.
No, it's a-
Okay,
it's a-
let me quickly go back to the
We'll say God forbid.
educational sector. Now, I know that children go through a formative age, and once you don't teach certain things in that age, you lose them. And that is most of the things we're seeing, replay out now. Our educational system is not vocational and practical enough.
Okay.
So we cannot, everybody reads to pass, and we come out forgetting what
we
we
read.
have learned, what we have read. Now, children grow up in schools not being able to say, okay, what can I contribute to the society? Everybody wants to work, get a white-collar job that somebody else has prepared. So how do you think? How do you think? Let me finish, please. How do you think we can channel our education in such a way that the children will be more they will participate more in their learning, in everything that's happening around?
May I just quickly add that what she's trying to say is when you graduate in Nigeria, you study a business course, for instance, you're coming out, you don't even know what to do with it because you've not been given entrepreneurial training, vocational, like they do. They have summer jobs and whatever jobs they do. So they're even prepared. A child graduating knows what he wants to do with a BSc you're gaining. Right here, you carry your CV to uncle to help you give them civil service.
To get a job.
So that's it.
So
Redirecting our curriculum.
No, it's beyond that. We must look deeply into the foundation of education itself.
Okay.
We cannot continue to produce people, who are just certificate holders, who are not really making an impact in the system. The truth is that the current educational system in Nigeria, as it is presently structured, is not meant to educate the average Nigerian. It's just built to certify them so that I can get certificate, which I call oftentimes meal tickets.
You can't use it outside.
Because even how many of these graduates are gainfully employed every year? The last statistics showed about 4.5 million Nigerians are even underemployed. Those carrying those certificates, are just people who end up getting 25,000, 30,000 jobs, 30,000 jobs monthly. So you see, it goes beyond just even getting, because the system cannot give any required skill. It is a system that has continued to, be operated in a way that they just want to push you in there, just get the certificate, don't make noise, and walk out.
Yes, Jumoke.
May I share my experience, which was I was already on TV before I even wrote JAM. I think my first JAM, I was still writing chemical engineering because I was a full science student in secondary school. But I'd been on TV for a while before, so I now asked them, if I want to go and read this course that is making me be on TV, what they call it. So when I went into the university to read mass comm, was based on interest and passion. I was fully participatory in class, based on it was passion. A lot of our youth is jammed you. You want to be a medical doctor. They say, go and do microbiology, you will change. You never change. They say, cut off mark. Yes. They say cut off mark for English or law is something. Oh, yeah, go and do English education.
You see, that exactly is the point.
We come out And we just, why did I even go to the school, sir? Because your parents tell you that you need an education. So you just go and get the certificate. So you are carrying expo into every exam. Let me just pass and go. So when you come out, you
Our
are,
professors are demanding for sex,
you are
for marks.
half-baked. So what do you do than to just go and, I want to go and blow. I want to be like Don Jazzy.
Fantastic. We have to go on a break because exactly what you just said, you're very right. Because I went to university in the US and I remember the kind of counseling I got. Even when I crossed over to university, they sat down with me. What do you like to do? I had to fill forms to assist me in deciding my path. So I knew exactly where I was going to. It wasn't as if jam would jam me or they just throw something at me. No. It was intentional. Let's go on a break.
I'll ask my question.
When we come back, we'll continue this conversation. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. We're going to take some tweets, but first, a question from Jumoke.
So based on, I shared my own story to say that, so the Nigerian educational system did not push me or jam me anywhere. So how do we ensure that our education, because the UNESCO says that you must, 15% at the very least of your national budget must be dedicated to education. Nigeria's 2018, budget is 3.9%. How do we ensure that young people are actually doing what they're passionate about?
You must be ready to educate. For any society to even move forward in every other direction that you can imagine. Sometimes we blame our youth as not being participatory in politics. They are not, but people don't just wake up from the, oftentimes from the very table sides of their bed.
From hunger.
And you want them to be productive, you want them to be contributive to the society. It's difficult. But when you educate the people, education goes beyond the curriculum.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, we must get that right.
Let's take a question from Nima, yes.
Thank you that you just nailed it there. Education is beyond the curriculum. And you see, we've agreed here that, the past leaders, their whole laws had a deliberate intention of what they wanted education to do in the lives of the leaders. But today's leaders are not doing that. What can we individually experience to in the lives of our children now to channel them properly towards what we think should be the way?
And not put Jumoke in a science
the
school.
curriculum that they are doing.
What's the Minister of Education doing? That's the
do?
job he's supposed to do. He's the one that's supposed to actually
I think we've
provide the
exhausted
platform.
that they are not
ready.
They are not ready. So aside changing the leaders and changing the president to ensure that he's looking towards it, there's nothing we can do there. But as individual, as parents,
we will continue to change president, to continue to change minister with all sense of responsibility. This is one of the worst minister of education Nigeria have had. One of the most silent. Not just silent because it's working, but because nothing is really there to show. But we continue to change president, governors, and ministers. If we don't change the system that the military left, that was inherited by the civilians since 1999, is a system, starting from the 1984 when the military took over after the 79-84 transition. There has been a conscious move, to make sure that education is taken away from our people.
What can we do?
That is why we've had our universities being shut for 9 months, 1 year, and government never really sees it as a national disaster.
Right. Morning, are you there?
Yes.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead,
Can you hear
please.
me?
Yes.
Okay, first thing first. I totally disagree with what our president said, that Nigerians are lazy.
He didn't say that, please. They said it over and over again. He didn't say that.
Yeah.
He said
That's
that
the point.
many young people are at home doing nothing.
And what's the meaning of this?
Okay, continue.
Okay, let me take you from this point now. Let's look at music, the music industry, for instance. The government did nothing. Now, the youth, instead of going into kidnapping, cultism, fighting,
They are singing.
they decided to say, okay, I can sing.
God bless you.
Some said, I can act.
Okay.
I can draw.
Right.
They now started this thing, play.
become
now it's a huge industry.
Right.
Bless you.
Now you're seeing someone like Rock Nation, owned by Jay-Z, signing someone like T.Y. Savage. You're seeing Universal signing someone like
Samson.
Burna Boy. Do you understand? Now, here's my point. We saying Big Brother Nigeria or any other reality show is a distraction. I completely disagree with Nema.
Okay.
Because here's the thing. You won't call it a distraction, but it's actually business.
It's business, yeah.
Oh.
It's good business. If the Nigerian government can invest in this. Okay, let me give you an example. Now, most of the major companies in Nigeria right now are not owned by Nigeria.
Well, Samson, let's
And
pause.
we have the
Let me
money.
pause you right there. Let me just refresh Nigerians' memory back to HITV. The kind of money this South African company is making is the kind of money HITV should have made if we had the government's backing. But the Nigerian government don't understand what HITV was trying to do at the time. The kind of support the South African government gives that company, when they wanted to sign on the EPL, the kind of minimum guarantee they needed, the letter of guarantee they needed was just a letter. We needed to put down at least $7 million to even show that we're interested. The point is that we didn't have the Nigerian support for the kind of industry, the kind of entertainment industry we were thinking of that time. But now, as he has said, young people have actually grown the industry themselves. Let me let Obiachi jump in before we take some tweets.
So
I
I wanted to
answer
ask.
my question.
Coming back to Neymar, let me say this, that getting it right, number one, we must go back to what education used to be in Nigeria.
Okay.
And you see, parents have roles to play, especially in bringing children up morally, developing them to be equipped for the society. But the real deal in the educational sector, the real requirements to prepare our children for the future, the government has a lot of role to play. It is a constitutionally guaranteed responsibility of the state to provide education. And let me also tell you that this system must understand that we are not building any future if we don't educate this generation of young people in Nigeria.
All right, let's see some tweets. We have to rush off.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So engineer says it's a sign of a failed government and educational system. Nigeria is just sitting on a time bomb with her unemployed, educated youth and uneducated too. It's a shame. Tosin says the educational system has to be designed to be more practical and hands-on. Students should be given group coursework to encourage working in groups while discovering their skill sets within groups. It should also be directed at encouraging blue-collar jobs.
So,
Tish says to me, concerning Nigeria, education should be easier, more practical. It's my country, our country, not entries as though I want to get a visa.
Okay,
Right.
yeah, I wanted to, based on that education, like coming from a place where the teacher just stands in front of the class and just gives out instruction. The world is changing, everything is changing with it. How do we make sure that the curriculum is designed in such a way that, knowledge is being taken from the children, because you think they don't know, but they really know, and you can use that.
A critical review is very important.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I must say this, you see, like I said, there's limit to how far the parents can go, especially in a society whereby majority of families live on 18,000 minimum wage. Only very few privileged families can actually take up certain responsibilities on their children's education. It should be the responsibility of the state to make sure that these platforms are created, these opportunities are opened, for the vast
Their
majority
schools
of
are
our young
reformed.
people, to have access not only to the classroom, but for other, facilities that can enhance, their capacity to make input
We have to run off. Let's
into
just
society.
One last tweet. John says, in the good old days of student unionism, the youth were responsive and learnt a lot about politics as it affected them. The moment institutions started banning student unionism, we started killing the leaders of tomorrow.
Unfortunately, we have to run.
Absolutely correct.
Okay, we have to round up. But obviously, we need young people to get involved. 2019 is around the corner. Yes, we have the major parties, but people are saying, let's even show, even though X or Y might win, but let even the young people show capacity. Come out and vote for somebody, even if it's COA, whatever it is, just vote for one party. So they know that we are there and we're involved. That's all we ask of the young people in
They take
Nigeria.
us seriously.
That's all we can take on the show. Have a fabulous day. We'll see you tomorrow.